Hello, everybody. I'm Roadblock, and we are on the free-to-play account. I'm going to be a little more controlled after last time. Just fully heads up, there will be spoilers because I'm going to have to talk about the new champion that I got. So if you want to kind of be surprised and get the exciting reaction of watching my shard pull video, I recommend you stop this video now and go check that video out. But I do want to talk about my plans for that champion and kind of where I want to go. So there will be spoilers for that video. So if you haven't seen that one yet, I would go check out the shard pull video. You guys love to watch them. I love to make them. We're all happy whenever those come out. So I definitely don't want to ruin that experience for anybody. Okay. So I've said everything I need to say about spoiling. So let's kind of talk about it. First things first, and this will allow time for people that don't want spoilers to click away. Ultra Nightmare, another 4 key. This time I did it with all my normal keys. I woke up on time. I was able to get 1 key in on Void Affinity still, which gives me the cushion that I need. So even though it's Magic Affinity and we're still able... Well, actually, Magic Affinity is pretty good affinity for me. So, yay, we're good there. Now let's talk about moving forward and what we're going to do with the new champion. So I got Newt. If you haven't seen it already, here he is in all his glory. Absolutely account defining champion. He is going to take this account and evolve it very rapidly. We have really great ways to support him as well. We have Kreela, so we have an ally attacker who is she full 3 random allies. So there is the potential chance that she doesn't team up with Newt. But that it's pretty would be relatively rare. We also have a counterattack champion and Skull Crusher. So he brings his own counterattack, but still we have that ability if we wanted to open with his A1, and then we can apply Skull Crusher's counterattack to him and get the value there. So there's a lot of ways to get use out of his turn meter mechanic on his A1. So I'm very, very, very excited to have pulled him. You'll be able to tell in the video because I go nuts. And he is the focus for the account. Now, he's a boss killer. If you don't already know that, he will be useful in almost any boss as long as that boss doesn't have some kind of punishment for turn meter reduction. I can't think of any off the top of my head that have I know there are some. It's Doom Tower bosses that will punish you if you reduce their turn meter. They reduce yours. I think it's Griffin is who I'm thinking about. So there is downside for certain bosses, but for the most part, Newt is going to come in very, very clutch, even for clan boss. I do think that he's going to do more damage than what Geomancer can do. And he doesn't need to change in order to do that. So right now, one of the problems I have with my Geomancer, aside from him being a little slow, is that I really want to build his masteries for a specific concept that would kind of revolve around UDK, Ursula, Geomancer. And then I don't really know who else I would involve in that team. I need people that bring buffs, but not damage. So Syl doesn't really bring buffs per se, unless she revives somebody or she places this increased speed. I would probably do Apothecary. So who did I say? We said Ultimate Death Knight, Ursula, Geomancer. Apothecary would bring 2 buffs that they don't bring. I don't want to use Taragi or Skull Crusher because I don't want the counterattack. And I don't want the added poison damage because that would screw up the team that I'm trying to make. Does she bring buffs? I know she brings debuffs. More egg would kind of screw it up. She would bring the same buffs. I feel like I've got... Melga. Well, Melga's bringing the same buffs as UDK, so that doesn't help. What I'm trying to do, anyways. Again, I'm looking for kind of a specific angle here. I'm not really looking just for buffers or debuffers. I'm looking for as many buffs as I can find, but on champions that I would otherwise not want to use. I might be a little strapped for fish on all allies, 2 tournament ally. Okay, actually, yeah, Sand Slash would be good with what I'm trying to do. I think. We already have increased defense. I mean, we may not need anybody else, to be honest. I'm just trying to think. It could even be Arbiter. I mean, I don't have her masteries yet, and she would bring an increased attack and a little heal as well. So that's certainly an option. It could also be Spirit Host for the increased attack and blood. Okay, yeah, it would be Spirit Host then, which is kind of hard because she'll be harder to keep alive. But I'm just looking for buffs. That's really all that I'm looking for. So could be Dur as well, since I'm only gaining 1 buff from Spirit Host in this scenario. Well, 2 buffs. And a mini and a cleanse. I say mini, but oh, actually, never mind. It's Rector Draft. Okay, because Rector Draft would also reduce damage taken. So specifically, I would have a build, and this is not clan boss related. This is a team that revolves around Newt. So it'd be Rector Draft, Apothecary for his 1 buff. Geomancer, Ursula, and UDK. So UDK brings 2 buffs. Ursula brings 3 buffs. I forgot she brings increased attack. And then we would get speed out of Apothecary. And then we would get from Rector Drath Perfect Veil on everybody, which would also reduce damage coming in, which would be very, very good. So, this is an Iron Twins team. Now, I use this team currently, and I'll give you guys a sneak peek of it. I just switched over to my main account. I want to clarify to you guys. And this team here, so I use an ally protector. Kyoku actually has no accuracy because I don't want her to land her debuffs. And I do have a buff extender for Geomancer, which I would not have on the free-to-play account. I don't currently have Aox. However, I do think the team will still work. It's just probably going to take a little bit longer. No, I may really need the Aox now that I think about it. But it's a team. This is future crafting. We're still figuring out clan boss, and then Hydra would be next. But by freeing up Geomancer from clan boss and replacing him with Newt, that's going to help me long term towards this type of team that revolves around Geomancer. So all my damage is coming from Geomancer, as you can see. I've done a few videos on this team. I can do another video if you guys want to see like a newer, updated version. There's not too much going on. The concept is I give buffs to my team. That speeds up the turn meter. I want this guy to take a lot of turns. I don't want that to happen. But I want him to take a lot of turns, and then he does damage to himself, which doesn't trigger what you just saw where he wiped all those buffs. Now, the reason he did that is probably because this is why I don't want poison from Taragi involved. Ally Protect is really good here, but to not have poisons is kind of a big deal. And you know what? Now that I think about it, the new champion would be really good in here too. The fusion champion that's coming up. So, but I want him to take turns. He does all the damage to himself. That causes him to not proc and therefore not clear all the debuffs off of him. Now, occasionally the timing of things won't work out because it's raid. Everything's not perfect. So sometimes he'll take a little bit too much damage from something and he'll trigger like you saw. But you'll see like that the debuff lasted all the way until Geo reapplied that debuff. So really, I think I can get away with not having an Aox in the team, but Aox I think just makes it more consistent, although I think the team just failed here. It's not 100%. I'm sure I could make it 100%, but I've made some change. I've weakened my Pytheon quite a bit here. I used to use Rector Draft instead of an Ally Protector. We might get lucky. Yeah, all right. Spirit Affinity is my weakest one of the bunch. Let's go ahead and run those out while I'm talking to you guys over on the other account. So that's the idea of a team I want to put together. It's mostly just revolving around a lot of buffs, but also buffs that are going to make us survive better. Strengthen is a good one. Perfect Veil is a good one, right? And big shields from UDK. So that's the team that I want to make for that. The biggest thing is just if a Geomancer either has to be really fast so his buff doesn't fall off, or we extend the buff. Now, what Aox does in that team is he extends the buff every time he takes a hit. So he extends Geomancer's buffs, which makes it not fall off. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have any I keep saying buff. I mean debuff, by the way, guys. I don't think I have any debuff extenders. All right, how does Ashma work? On a 3-turn? The problem with these champions increasing poisons only. Yeah, let me make sure this was all debuffs. Yeah. What is Lumberer? And only decreased defense. See, Assassin brings poison, so I wouldn't like that. Because I don't want the poisons to land. Or because there's a chance that he would accidentally proc off poisons. Okay. But yeah, that's the idea for the team that I want to build. Now, obviously, I don't have the perfect kind of champions for it yet. But I figure that'll get me deeper into Iron Twins. That's the hope. Now, there are traditional Iron Twins teams that use champions like Kurzad Depart, or just decrease speed in general, that I could attempt to go with. but that team has been very consistent for me. I've built it before, and I'm pretty excited about it. So that's probably the team that I'm gonna try and go with. Because what does Kurzad have? I know he's highly valued in that dungeon. Am I blind? Oh, he's a rare. Yeah, okay, so it's 100%. That's what makes him so good. Because yeah, if you can place decreased speed, you can do different mechanics in there, or a different strategy. But I really like the geomancer strategy. You guys are probably gonna hit me in the comments with all these different Iron Twin strategies. This is future planning, and it's the strategy that I like the most, and I'm probably gonna go with because I think it's the easiest to kind of build. Obviously, I don't have an AOX or any debuff extender, so we'll see how well it goes. Uh, it may just take longer, or it may fail completely. I've got to build it to find out, and all those champions that I mentioned are worthwhile building on the account, so I'm okay with that. All right, but we're at a four key ultra nightmare. I'm excited, and that's the second day in a row, so it's more consistent. The changes I've made have been working. I'm happy about that. I have had some people ask, and I'll do this now before I forget, about my build on Godseeker. So I did put Godseeker in Toxic set. That was I wanted at the time. Godseeker was the only support champion. It wasn't until later that I put Ursula in. I think this would be better on Ursula, but I'm okay. I just haven't bothered to make the change. Um, for masteries, this is kind of your standard clan boss masteries. You're getting survivability and counterattacks, and then getting trying to see that's never going to go off, but there isn't really a better option. I felt like in here. Um, but yeah, basically, you're working your way down to War Master to get that extra damage and then defense. Now, support tree is a possibility for Godseeker because you could do like Healing Savior. You get Cycle of Magic in there so that you can get her cooldown refresh up, or sorry, not her cooldown, sorry, her buff extension up more. Um, so that is a consideration, but at the end of the day, I'm very happy with the tree that I went down. It's kind of a standard build, but I'm okay with that. And artifacts, just HP. I did go crit rate. I mentioned this in the video to try and get some extra damage out of her. So she is still 103% crit rate with 145% crit damage. She's not, doing crazy damage, but she's doing very good damage. But I would replace Geomancer with Newt because I do think Newt is going to be that good in Clan Boss, especially because we're going to have we'll keep the weaken that Newt brings. We're going to get another opportunity at decrease attack. We don't really need it because we have Ursula, but Ursula's going to come out for a non-void champion. So that's a factor, and that's only if I complete the fusion. So having another opportunity to land decreased attack will be very valuable. Also, getting counterattack on Newt is going to get me opportunities to do more damage. And then we've already talked about how great heavy this hits, but also take into consideration the fact that we can reduce the defense of the clan boss permanently across the fight by 30%. That's huge. That's very, very important over the course of what is a long fight to just keep amplifying the damage out of Blade Rathalos, right? Now Rathalos does lose his HP burner effect, which is unfortunate, but he still does a ton of damage. So I think I would stick with Rathalos, especially since he brings my decreased defense on the A1 there. As far as Newt goes, I am slowly leveling him up. I'm also leveling up food for him. So right now I've got 2 pieces of food that are 5-star, and I've got a few more in work. I'm doing these 2 3-stars just because at the time I didn't know how many 4-stars I have, but I actually have a lot of rare 4-stars already. So you'll see I've got, what, 4, 5, 6, 7. So leveling a couple of these and then leveling 3-stars alongside them. I've got a lot of food for 3-stars because I pulled so many ancient shards recently. So we're pretty deep. I should get Newt leveled up fairly quickly. Ascension should be pretty easy. In fact, I don't know if I have the weekly quest right now. We'll pop that. I did not. It was worth popping it, though. So, but yeah, ascending him will be pretty easy. We're pretty deep here. May have to do some arcane runs, but that's fine. He's also going to speed me up in all those areas as well. All of the keeps. You know, we're already at 20 on a 1-minute 22, but we'll be able to speed that up. And yeah, as you can see here, with between Coldheart and Newt, this run will get much faster. So, yeah. Also, I don't know if you can turn meter manipulator. This is what I'm saying. I've never had to go back and do these because I'm being very patient with who I ascend and who I level and everything. So I've got a ton of potions. So I've never even had to bother taking this to stage 20. I can't look at the other keeps right now, but he'll speed all of that up. Minotaur is pretty fast as it is. I don't think I need to adjust the time of that run, but yeah, Newt is going to be so powerful. Oh, before I forget, let's do the fun thing. So I did finish the tournament for Sand Devil, and we got the crystals. There's 8 hours left, and I'm only behind by a few points, so I might do a few more Sand Devils just to try and get the rare gear up here, or the epic gear, sorry. I'll keep an eye on that and see if it's worthwhile for me to do. But we got the crystals, so let's go ahead and pull those. Let's see what we get. I think I'm really just hoping maybe for a legendary out of here. Let's see what we get. See if my luck holds up, right? Epic. Fenax, okay. I was just talking about how the other day, I was like, he might be pretty good for me. He can definitely help in PvP. Because he has a skill that can prevent revival, of course, which is really powerful. Obviously less, this... Oh, wait. 75 block buffs for 2 turns. And it's on a 4-turn cooldown. I don't like that it's on a... Oh, I have Ugo anyways. I don't know why I'm stressing, thinking I need to have that. This kit. I don't like these. I don't know why these are 60% chances. I really don't. I mean, an old school epic I can understand, Really interesting when you look at that stuff and think power creep. I also wanted to show you guys Mithrala is now up to 83 fragments because we did collect 4 fragments from this most recent run. So I was happy to get 4 fragments. It's the maximum that I can currently get in normal. So let's talk future plans. We're going to substitute Newt in for Geomancer, like I said, but then what? what are we gonna do after that? Because that should actually really speed up my or increase the damage output of my clan boss significantly. So then it raises the question, what's next? After I do that, after I get Newt in there using his enemy max HP damage and hopefully getting it down to a 3 key, hopefully, we'll see, but hopefully, what comes next? I think Hydra is where I would like to focus next. I did talk recently when I pulled him about the fact that I have a very deep roster for Dwarven faction wars. We've got Herndig, Newt, Melga, Geomancer, and I could either go Cornelia for some crowd control, Morag for some ally attack, which would be good compared, alongside of Newt, or even Filja, Filja for uh, wave clearing, but I kind of have Herndig. I think is decent for that. Um, so maybe Cornelia, but I'm pretty deep in dwarves, and that could be the first faction that I take all the way up, which will really help me getting forge materials to kind of further my game. I've been really starving for some perception gear. You'll see I have a lot to craft. I'll be doing that in the upcoming Clan v Clan a week from now. So I am a little starved there, but I do think that dwarves would be a good place to focus. But I have such a strong Hydra team on paper now. So the biggest thing I'm missing is a cleanse. And I don't think that the new guy is gonna cleanse. So I have Ugo for a baby cleanse, and then I could go, and I should go and level Reliquary Tender. I was hoping to get maybe a better cleanser between now and then, but it hasn't happened, so I think it's the right time to go ahead and level up Reliquary Tender. She's got a full team cleanse, and it can book down to a 3-turn cooldown. Even has a revive, which is very valuable. So I think I would go that. The cleanse on Melga is very situational, and I would not really want to go. I wouldn't want to count on that cleanse too heavily. But for Clan Boss, I would have Reliquary Tender and Ugo kind of working together. So I would probably be looking at Rathalos. I kind of got to think here. I do like Ugo over Sun Wukong, so I would like to bring Ugo, which means I don't really need to bring Deacon. The turn meter is nice, but without a Shamil feeding him, I think I would bring Ugo, Rathalos, Geomancer. Ugo, Rathalos, Geomancer. Newt, of course, would be brought for sure. And probably Rector Drath and just go the Veil route to avoid the dealing with fears outright, since I only have one cleanser in Reliquary Tender. So Rector Drath, Reliquary Tender, Ugo, Geomancer, Rathalos, and Newt. I'm missing a Provoker there, so probably take... I'm wondering if I might want to take out Geomancer, or... I don't know if I can get away without a cleanse. I don't think Ugo's mini cleanse is enough. to get away with when you start facing the poison head. But we're only talking about getting up to like normal or hard, so it's definitely a possibility. Because I need a provoker, but I have a great provoker. So this is a 2-turn. It's a one turn provoke, but it's on a 2-turn cooldown. So I should be able to keep this provoke up fairly often, especially because he has such a high base speed at 107. So should be easy enough to keep him sped up and keep the team kind of going. So if I didn't want to go Ugo, I could go Sun Wukong, but I like Ugo better, mostly because she brings the mini cleanse, but also the decreased defense on the block buffs means that frees up another area where I don't need to bring a decreased defense champion, and I can just focus on maybe another damage or another support or something. So a few different ideas. Obviously, I could also go with, where's he at? Mordecai as well to bring HP burns, which is very valuable, and that'll increase my damage as well as my Rathalos damage. So that's a viable option as well. Also bringing increased attack, which is huge. Because who have I talked about so far? Yeah, there's a lot of different teams that I would play with in Clan Boss. So, oh wow, we're at 31 minutes. I'm sorry, guys. I've been rambling on about future plans, and we had a lot to do. I really wanted to open up those shards. I do have one last thing I want to talk about, and that is the Fire Knight turn attack. I'm gonna do it. I am gonna try and knock out the Fire Knight turn attack on this account for a couple of reasons. One, I'm going to get these points, which, oh man, I've got so much to talk about. I'm sorry for rambling on, guys. I'm very tempted to just drop this video and start over. But then you wouldn't get to see me pull what I pulled, which is 10x. So we're going to just finish up this video. I'm going to buckle down and focus. I'm going to do this Fire Knight tournament because we're in the middle of a 2x Savage Gear, or 3x Savage Gear, sorry. And I have a really good, consistent team that's using a lure that can do Fire Knight in a decent time and a decent number of turns. I think I'll get good points there and should get good bang for my buck here. So that is the plan. And I do want another chance to try and pull here. I love this event. I hate spending money on this event. I don't recommend anybody do it, to be honest. I've done it a few times on my main account, and I've been burned even as recently as this event, this particular one. I tried to get Falmond, and I didn't get a single legendary. So there's no mercy system, and I think that's really, really crappy. But if there is an opportunity for me to get to farm up these prism shards for free, I've got to do it. A chance at any one of these legendaries. I think the weakest in the bunch is Archbishop, but I'm not saying that in the sense that I think he's bad. I'm saying that of the group, he's just a little bit weaker than everyone else, but he's still really good. Cupidus would be huge. Martyr would be huge, especially now that I have Newt. And Falmond is just very strong. So any opportunity to get any of these legendaries is really, really powerful for me and what I would want to focus on. So I am going to do the Fire Knight event and try and farm for that. I'll probably spend a little bit of energy tonight to try and win the Sand Devil event, because there's only 8 hours left, and I don't think these other two are like that competitive. I think they hit their goal and they stopped. So I can just squeeze out a few extra points tonight and try and get a chance at some better gear, which is always good, and then use the remaining energy on Fire Knight. I'm not spending gems on this. This is just passive energy gain, and energy gain from dailies and weeklies and whatnot. So I've got another bottle of energy here, potion of energy, so I'll be able to knock that out. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. We talked about the Fire Knight event and why I think it's good, and that's. I'm just making sure I'm not forgetting anything because I'm kind of rushing now. So that's everything, guys. I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, I super appreciate it. I know it's a little bit on the longer side than some of my other videos, but we had a lot to kind of go over and talk about. I will be picking the winner for the free to play challenge account here very soon. Keep an eye out for that. In fact, I'm just gonna go buckle down and do it as soon as I'm done recording this video. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.